Oh, right, all right, all right. We got Raider in the top left side of the map. It's the Esports World Cup. Group B. It's the very first match for Reynor, and it's the very first match for his opponent. Kura in the bottom right side, running into a very tough opponent. Reynor has famously been a little, not disrespectful, but confident against Kua. Almost dismissive of Kua's chances to beat him. He said Kua's big problem, and I've said this a few times, but we've seen it, is that he's not as good at multitasking as some of the other top Terrans. He will let Banelings roll into his Marines when he's not looking. And because of that, the longer the game goes, the harder it is for him to win. Against a guy like Reynor, who is the fastest Zerg in the world, that's going to be tough. And he's going 3 racks Reaper? What? Wow. I guess he's hoping to catch Reynor being a bit greedy, maybe. Reynor's gone hatch gas pool, but he's not rallying one to gas super fast. If he'd put 3 workers on gas straight away, this would be easier because link speed's faster. This is going to be really interesting. I do think Kua has clever build orders. Like I said, it's the clutch factor of Reynor up against the not quite as clutch factor of Kua that makes me always think Reynor's a massive favorite. But Solar came out and said, dude, Q is so good right now in Zerg vs. Terran. I've been practicing with him. He's going to destroy Reynor. I think that was kind of Solar just cheering for his boy and being a bit tongue-in-cheek before this match, but it does speak to some confidence there. And we'll see what goes on. Of course, Reynor's been grinding his butt off, getting as good as possible at StarCraft leading into this World Championship. And it is StarCraft's first $1 million tournament. $400,000 first place prize. The Reaper's going to come in. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I talk about Q not being able to keep up with the fastest pros. I'm talking when there's a crazy, like, Reynor versus Clem fights in 3 places at once. That's where Q sometimes falls apart, you know, Dark hitting him with crazy backstabs. But in the early game, the first 8-9 minutes, Q is fantastic. Great micro, good macro. His build orders are clever. But 3 Racks Reaper is an incredibly mechanical build. It's all about your micro versus your opponent's micro. We're going to see how much damage can he do. So he bounces the Queen away, gets some damage on the Zerglings. One of them does go down. Oh, don't lose that! 3 hit point Reaper does pull away. He's going to pull over to the left side. He can easily cancel that 3rd hatchery. Link speed only just started up a few seconds ago, guys. So link speed's kind of late here. Reynor's definitely going to have to cancel the 3rd. He's gone to 25 drones, which is fantastic because that 3rd command center has only now started. The Reapers are still coming out, so we're going to at least 8 Reapers, 9 Reapers. Oh me, oh my. That delayed link speed could be a real problem because he has not saved transfuse energy. Gonna have to pull back that weak Queen. Zerglings are dying now. He's got enough Reapers to one-shot. The Zerglings getting one-shot there. Very powerful. Remember, they do 8 damage each. Once you get 5 of those, that's 40 damage against a 35 hit point Zergling. You do need a 6th one to kill a drone, though, because the drones do have 40 hit points plus instant regen on all Zerg units the moment you take damage. So Reaper's going to rotate around. Command Center's on the way at home. We've also got an engineering bay. Remember, with a 3 Racks Reaper, you have to play a 3 Racks follow-up because you already built your 3 barracks. The 9 Reapers coming forward. He could dive on these Queens. I really feel like Q is actually being way too careful because it's like link speed's not done. You either need to get the damage done now or you need to get out of there. It's one or the other. And he doesn't really get more damage. I think Q is going too deep, man. Dude, if these Lings just surround this is crazy. This is a crazy move. There's no way he gets out. Oh my lord! The Lings cut off his retreat, but because of that, they didn't really go for the surround, which does give him a nice angle. Let's see how well he can trade out, and man, these Lings are gonna ruin these Reapers. Massive victory for Reynor there, and one has to beg the question, why didn't he engage the Queens? I think he thought link speed was already done, but he kind of maybe gambled there on Reynor. I guess he was gambling on Reynor being greedy. So this is like the classic, okay, Reynor thinks you're going to play safe and go home with your Reapers because link speed should be done. So therefore, Reynor's only going to build like 12 Zerglings, nothing else, and he's going to go back to droning. So Q kind of gambled on that being the case. And then he runs in and finds like 25, 30 Zerglings, and it's like, okay, Reynor didn't gamble. This does not work out. Overlord does go through the main, sees the factory's almost done. You always know it's going to be a starport or reactor. Medevacs, Marines, Stim, usually siege tanks after for some sort of kind of 1.5, 2 base pushes. The 3rd command center is always very late with this build. So if Reynor can get to like 60 workers, 4th hatchery, and just start, you know, pumping Ling Bane, that's the safe sort of setup that you need. Now, I said 60 drones. It's Reynor, so remember, he's a greedy boy. He might go to 75 workers before he starts pumping Ling Bane just because his name's Reynor and he likes to be insanely greedy. He's already got a quick Laren Baneling nest, so he will be able to go for a fast Baneling speed. I'd love to see a drone move out to that 4th. He's going to go single Evo for now. This is something Lambo was talking to me about, where he said the optimal way to play Zerg vs Terran is to go for a fast single Evo and get Carapace. And then you can add the second Evo for the melee upgrades later, because Carapace is just so much more important. He said it's just so try-hard and sweaty that even he can't be bothered doing it. But he says, like, technically we should all do this as Zerg players. Hey, Marines get himself a few Zerglings. Overlord left in the open. REYNOR with a bit of a mistake. Fourth hatchery does go down, but it's very exposed over here. And I think good pullbacks for REYNOR. You don't want to chase off creep here. You just want to force the stem and then kind of back away for now. How many Marines went down there? Just two. 2 Marines. Not bad at all. Zerglings should see this come home. Does REYNOR micro it away as well? Oh, so slow, REYNOR. Doesn't even micro his Zergling. What a noob. Just kidding, guys. Baneling speed's only about 40 seconds from finishing. Second Evo chamber does go down. Notice how there's only 1 gas, and that's going to be the 4th gas. So 4 gases, 1 in the main, 1 in the natural, 2 on the 3rd base, and the 4th base is up as well. 60 workers into Massling Bane production. This is what you do against the build of Cure, guys. If you can counterattack as well and like bust the natural or something, then it's huge. Right now, he's getting ready for the surround. Knowing there's Lings behind means you do have to be a little careful, because if those queens start shooting those medevacs, you can't really pick up. Baneling speed's still about 10 seconds away, though. This is his window. If Cure kills the 4th hatch, it's massive. He's going to run away, though. He plays safe. He doesn't have enough space in those medevacs for everyone. Can he focus the Banelings? Oh, he does focus down some of the Banelings, saves the last 16 Marines. I think it's a good enough trade for Cure. He's still ahead 500 resources in the units lost, and he's got tanks building. He's also going for the armory. Guys, he's doing the Demented 2-base all-in. So the Demented 2-base all-in is what I've nicknamed this build recently. It's where you literally go for +2 weapons before taking a 3rd command center. It's you don't even have a 4th and 5th barracks, but you're planning for this 2-base all-in to go so long that you're not going to beat him with the first wave or the second wave. You want to beat REYNOR 10 minutes from now in like a scrappy game where REYNOR's never really able to properly get past 60, 65 workers, and you just trade better than him over and over. Beyond's a master of this. Let's see how well Cure does with it. Oh, the flank, though. The flank, though. Oh, the queens should be able to focus that medevac, and they do take it down. Massling Bane comes in from behind. Easy Baneling flank. And REYNOR, he knew this was coming. REYNOR knew that this is the optimal push angle for this base, and he set up perfectly for it. That there is anticipation. That there is planning, and that's the sort of stuff REYNOR, when he's been practicing hard, you see a big difference, right? REYNOR often goes into series, I feel like, just playing very standard stuff and just expecting to win, feeling like he can just like react to stuff and deal with it. Very Dark style, right? It's like, I'll just rock up and see what happens. I'll figure it out. But that's not really reliable. In this case, good planning, good preparation, and he's shutting down these pushes. Now look at this, vehicle weapons and +2 bio off 3 racks. Only now building the 4th and 5th barracks. Got to be critical. I do think that 4th and 5th barracks is late, guys. As nice as those upgrades and the Liberators will be the longer this game goes. 2 Marines for a couple Banelings ain't too bad there for Cure. But if REYNOR can get up a 5th base and, you know, get towards Hive and stuff, that's where things go well for him. His +2 carapace is ahead of the +2 bio weapons, but Liberator's coming out. The problem is the tanks going down. I actually think those 2 tanks dying, it says only 1 died, but the other one must have died from friendly fire from his own siege tank. Because we know 2 siege tanks died in that previous push, which is why this thing, it's pretty accurate, but it doesn't show friendly fire or self-detonation kills. Massive surround setup, dude. Q is going to get wrecked. There's just no way. REYNOR's not being greedy at all. He's only built a few more workers, and he's getting ready for the massive surround. Queens will go in from the front, Ling Bane from the other sides, and that is a cinematic engagement. My man looking for the highlight reel there. Luckily for Cure, REYNOR didn't focus the Reddit point medevac down. Doesn't even matter. These queens can literally walk off creep and overwhelm these Liberators. That is an astounding victory for REYNOR, and a really good one. One has to wonder why Cure opened 3 racks Reaper. I gotta bring it back to that, guys, because I mean, I like the all-in follow-up, but I guess I just don't like the 3 racks Reaper I mean, it all comes down to he thought he would do better with the opening, right? I want to be critical of this opening, but realistically, it's easy to be critical of a 2-base all-in when your opening falls flat. You know, it's just a bad start, that's all. We got to be fair. If he had a good start with the Reapers, I think this is a totally different game. So I don't think it's fair of me to be like, oh, why would you do this build? This is dumb. I think doing tight timing attack pushes is one of the best things Cure can do, because you keep the game small scale enough to where REYNOR can't use his crazy multitasking nearly as well, right? If you're doing a 2-base or a 3-base push like an 8 racks. So I think it's not a bad strategy from Cure. It just didn't pan out in the early stages, and I mean, I know I'm casting like this is over when it's not, but guys, if you're doing a 2-base all-in against the Zerg who's got a 5th base up, he's going to transfer workers out of his like main and natural there. You see, transferring extra workers out now to his 4th. Hive's finished, Hydras are coming, bloody, your upgrades are even. I mean, you can't get across the map. You can't even get out of your corner of the map right now. Does REYNOR need to build more drones? No, he does not. But he's up in army and up in workers by about 20 supply on each. It would take an awful engagement for this to go in Q's favor. This is a really bad angle for REYNOR to fight. There is no reason for him to attack on this angle other than the fact that he's winning so hard and he feels like actually getting the victory. Very awkward fighting angle, guys. This is a terrible fight for REYNOR. he just threw away his entire army supply lead. Q is going to push forward. Of course, he could just give this base up, transfer workers to the other side. He should be counterattacking the natural a bit more, in my opinion, just making sure that there's tanks and marines at home. Of course, we know those are there, but he does not. And Transfuser's trying to go down. People in the chat are already talking about Terran copium. There's a big discussion in my Twitch chat yesterday about how Terrans never leave games even when they're dead. It's just something in the Terran nature. And I was saying, there's great defender's advantage. There's always the chance of amazing fights. I've seen Beyond do this sort of build, lose 2 big fights. Me think, oh, the game's pretty over. And then he just gets the most perfect engagement. And then a drop surprises the Zerg and kills all the drones in their main. And suddenly he's back in the game. Like, Beyond has won so many games off of this sort of build order where the early game looks very kind of messy. But, of course, Beyond does have a little bit more of that clutch it factor when it comes to the micro rather than QO. Oh, full medevac just went down as well. This one is lights out. Now, it's really important if you're the player in Q's shoes to not get demotivated. If you're hanging around in a game like this, you should have already mentally said, hey, I've probably lost this game. Let's just see if we can make it hard for him to kill me. And I don't think he's too demotivated. Remember, this one all came down to the Reapers doing nothing. They dived into the main. It was a big old gamble. And if he'd killed some queens or something, that would have been good. But if you look at the units lost tab, before he dives the main, he doesn't kill the 3rd hatchery. He doesn't kill the queens. Like, what's he got? 5 Zerglings? Absolutely could have wrecked those queens pre-link speed, guys. Especially if he got a grenade behind them to bounce them towards his units. But instead, REYNOR is just like, hey, I'm at 28 drones, going to 32, and I shut down all your Reapers? I mean, this is... The fact that he got to 25 drones at the start as well is huge. You'll notice a lot of the time when the Korean players play against 3RX Reaper, I've seen like Solar and Dark sit on 22 drones, massing Zerglings. Q never really got that response out of REYNOR. REYNOR was up to 25 workers very early, built 10 Zerglings, built 3 more drones, went up to 20 Zerglings, built another 4 drones even while defending it, and being at 32 workers with 8 more popping here, he's so far ahead. The command center is just finished for Q. It's game over at this point. Alright, well, it was a bad map 1, but that was the Zerg map. This is the Terran map, and let's see what Q has got in store for us on Dynasty. Down in the bottom left side, it's going to be an extractor trick into a 15 hatch on the outside. That's right, REYNOR is going to go for the greedy gold base. Now, with this build, the only way I like this is if you send like 6 drones out and you both take the purple gas and put guys on the minerals straight away. And then you go straight for a Roachhorn using the crazy value you get. If you build a gas at home, I always feel like the build is way worse. That's just an extractor trick, guys. Don't worry. Don't even worry about it. It's going to get an Overlord as well. So we'll see if it works out. I know that's the build that Dark has used sometimes recently. And kind of gotten away with it. Like, there's been times where people proxy Reaper and they just don't do enough damage to it. But we'll see how it goes. Spawning pool goes down behind the main hatchery mineral line. So it's going to be 15, 15. A couple more drones. And you want to pull them probably, I guess, when this is at like 40, 45 seconds. Probably 45 seconds, right? So I think like about 4 seconds from now. You see he's already sending 1 drone. I think these other ones. Yeah, right there at 45 seconds. He pulls all the drones. So he's going to pull 6 workers over. Yeah, this is a huge commitment. Now, Cure is going to go scout this direction, and he can get behind and deny some mining. He's also going to get his own gold base up. So, I mean, he's still got a good advantage here. It's just the purple gas. The thing is, if you get an early Roachhorn, immediately you get like a Roach or a Ravage over here, deny his gold minerals and have your own going, it can really lead to a big advantage. What I love about this map in general, even though I always complain on ladder, I go, I hate playing this map's so unfair, like especially in ZvP. I always complain about it. But it actually is really interesting because it creates a very different dynamic. And I love having maps like this that actually add variety, even if they're not necessarily the most balanced. Especially when you have a robust, ban and pick system. I think it's always a good thing to have. So the gas is going down here. Didn't start mining it that quickly. Still no Roach Warren as well. Looks like he's just focusing on his economy for now. That makes sense. When you've had to pull all these workers, your economy is so bruised. Reaper's going to go up behind the base. Shouldn't be able to kill anything here. I don't think you can bounce workers across the minerals. And as long as the queen gets into like one of these mineral pockets, it can usually do a pretty good job. And you can actually rotate the healthy workers off the gas onto the minerals and pull the weak ones onto the gas for a bit of safety. You just got to be careful for when Hellions actually start to come in. Reynor's not rotating the weak ones yet. Interesting. Maybe hasn't quite thought of that little adjustment. Oh, he got super supply blocked, and his Roach Warren's only now going down. I mean, he's got 2 mineral lines up pretty quickly, right? It's not a terrible opening, but it's definitely not optimal. That supply block is really bad. Cyclone's on the way as well as a single Marine. You can see Cure thinks there's going to be a Ravager Ling, because that's exactly what Dark would have done off this. Whereas Reynor might just be going for like a 2 Roach pressure behind the natural, deny some gold mining, and that's about it. Still no actual kills for the Reaper just yet. And the Queen coming down does push him away. 3rd command center's on the way. No reactor is really awkward in my opinion for Cure. And he is actually overcommitting to the defense here. Did he not see the Roach Warren timing? He did see the Roach Warren timing. But I think he thought the Roach Warren was already built in the back of the main. And at this point, he's kind of like, huh, really? You're not committing? I think he might want to build the reactor further back as well, rather than in the wall. I think basically realizing, hey, if I build add-ons in the wall, they might just get sniped down. Overlord trying to make a getaway over here. This command center is mining very nicely. 6 roaches are building, by the way. Queen's blocking the ramp in case Hellions try to run in on that side. And as these roaches go forward, should be able to do okay. Reaper's going to jump up the left. Oh, he sees it with the Overlord. Queens are in position. Roaches gun that Reaper down. And what is that, guys? Is that his backpack? Oh, my lord. Chunk of torso attached to his jetpack. Yauchi. Oh, Reynor's going all in. Oh, he's doing a Ravager Queen Zergling, guys. He's going to bring Queens with the Overlord, and he's going to go with the Roach Ravager. There's already a bunker up with a tank building, which is a problem. But look at that, guys. He came down with 2 Cyclones and the barracks, floated it to the pillar. Reynor knew he was going to do this move and already hit it. Reynor has clearly studied Cure. He's clearly been looking at his games. That's really great anticipation to not lose that Overlord. He does need more Overlords behind it, though. 3rd hatchery is here. So he's going to be able to drone up behind this and take an economic lead. This isn't actually an all-in, guys. If he can bile the tank, though, it could be game over very quickly for Cure. Now, Cure needs to keep that tank really far back. That's too close. He needs to siege it like there at the closest. Beautiful siege location. You can give up some depots, whatever. It's totally fine. Just do not let that tank go down. Now, of course, the problem with sitting too far back is it allows Reynor to spread creep like a mad lad. 2 queens over on the left side. He should be dropping creep and spreading creep there as well, taking out a few SCVs. Very nice. 3 SCVs going down. I think a 4th one's going to die in that bunker in the top left as well. Tech Lab also falling. And behind this, drones are on the way. He's still morphing a few more Ravagers on the front is Mr. Ray Ray. He's going to have to move this Overlord a little further forward to keep that vision. Creep does go down over on this base. As the tank is sieged up, Reynor should be pulling back. Microing in 2 places is very intense, though. Loses a queen there. I guess he's trying to bile at the front. Does take out a depot, but the SCVs are there to repair. Now, the Ravagers, got to be careful. Nice biles across there. Does take out 2 more workers. Reynor is droning. 9 workers and Carapace on the way. His economy's in full speed. 3 more worker kills. Another 2 worker kills. Reynor's all over it, guys. Reynor may be taking a 2-0 advantage and just finishing this series off rather quick. Don't get me wrong, he's got a 3rd command center, he's got a lot of barracks and the like, but Cure is not quick enough. He keeps losing SCVs to these biles on 2 fronts, and this is Reynor has realized he can create a multitasking situation where he knows he's the better multitasker, he knows he's the faster player. He's spreading creep back from both sides. He does need a 4th hatchery, which he starts now. 1-1 upgrades are on the way as well. And this is crazy. He's already killed 9 SCVs, not to mention the massive amounts of mining time. And every now and then he just comes in, drops some biles, and good luck dodging that every time. 2 more SCVs go down. Does need a 6th gas, does Mr. Reynor. Remember, this gas down here will mine out very quickly as well. But as he's going up to about, 66 worker mass Roach Ravager, hard to lose from that situation. Ravager does go down, doesn't quite get the tank snipe. These 2 Ravagers over here, though, are just paying dividends. And as he finds the APM to spread the creep backwards as well, that's just going to be so big. Another SCV goes down. This is devastating damage. He's on 59 workers at home. Like I said, if he can get to 66, saturate these gases and the like, he's going to be in a great spot. He sees the double upgrades, he sees the barracks, the third command center, so he knows what he's up against. He's spreading creep backwards with these, which is just going to make it so hard to move out on the map. Goodbye siege tank, brings up 2 more Ravagers, allowing himself to get a siege tank. There is another tank behind it, but every tank snipe is massive because, I mean, for Cure, he can't even take a third base right now. And I think for REYNOR, this is pretty much in the bag. It's the whole joy of if you get the gold base up and deny their gold mining, you can build massive advantages. Another 2 SCVs go down. Here we go. That's a nice move for Cure. Gets himself a couple Ravagers. The Roach is happy to trade, though, until the siege tank does siege up. The siege tank doesn't quite get a shot off. He should leave that siege on the high ground for sure. These Roaches happy to take the fight, even though REYNOR's only got a few units here. Hive, Baneley Nest, and Ling Speed are on the way. He's still got Ravagers harassing over on the gold base as well. Doesn't quite land on that one since the mineral line's already so diminished. Q is on 39 workers. Q's economy could best be described as soft. It is fragile, it is flaccid. REYNOR right now is firm. He has 4 bases established. He could easily take a 5th behind this. 65 workers, 7 more drones coming in. His creep spread's not great because he's been so active with his Ravager micro. That's where his APM's been. Hasn't been spreading much at home. Hasn't been spreading back from the front either. But he's damaged Q so much, it really shouldn't matter. He's only got 2 active tumors at home. He knows there's a drop coming. His Roaches will be ready to respond. He's got a Spore Crawler there as well. As long as he leaves a few Roaches, which he's left on the south, he's fine. The creep out front, the base does get cleared. Q is finally going to land his third, 8.5 minutes into the game, against a fully saturated 4-base Zerg, who now has a 5th hatchery on the way as well. Ravagers are still denying the gold minerals. Remember, that third base isn't really a third. It's actually a natural, because this gold base is just no longer functioning. He's only got the normal gas on the reverse side and nothing else. He will get a nice catch. Oh, okay. Yeah, REYNOR stayed a bit too long on this side of the map, guys. Does lose a bunch of queens there. He's lost 6 queens, 3 Ravagers. Down to just 4 queens right now. So his anti-air is very limited, but he's making 3 Vipers to make up for that. And, I mean, he's going to have a max out of Roach Ravagers ugly, right? He's got +1 melee, +2 Carapace coming in. Where's that second Evo, by the way? Is it? It's over here. Oh, engages there, gets a few Marines. Meanwhile, these Marines are going to run in. They have to pick up as well. Q can deny the 5th base if he wants to. REYNOR's not really moving to respond. And the drops are going to be a nuisance, but as that base is opened up, it makes it easier for him to move in. Ooh, we had a bit of a lag spike there. Sorry, guys. That was not you. That was, I don't know if it was my computer or something, I guess. Ooh, siege tank gets piled on that base. This is not looking like a close one at all. And it's kind of unfortunate because I really thought Q would come out with some very clever plays, some clever strategies, but things just haven't gone his way. Did not anticipate the gold base rush for REYNOR. I mean, I think it's because REYNOR and Dark leading into this tournament both would always take this as the natural, this is the third, and then expand to the 4th base at the front only later. I think they were expecting that. I think this is why Terran players have been maybe a little surprised by Zergs actually having the gumption, the balls to actually go and rush that gold base at the start. Feels like just doing a straight up Reaper expand is not prepared for that strategy, is it? Letting him get away with it, definitely not what Cure would have liked to do. If he would have another go at this game, he would completely change the opening, 100%, and maybe double proxy barracks or something like that to just ruin the hatchery. Because you can imagine if the drones are transferring and then 6 Marines walk up with an SCV or something like that, you know, start building a bunker, or 3 Marines even only is all you need. It's going to be a bad situation. We're watching Cure in a death animation right now, guys, in a bit of a death knell, and that's sad. You know, you can hear the keening of the Terran SCV wives wailing across the Dynasty here. You know, it's not a good spot to be in. If he makes the next fight even vaguely close, it comes off the back of him delaying it for another minute, maxing out, and REYNOR somehow having no evolution to his army in that time, which is unlikely. Parasitic bombs coming down on the medevacs, 2 of those. A Duck's on a siege tank, one of them goes down, the other one's trying to siege up mid-fight. This does not look like the perfect engagement that Q needed to get back in this game, and he is absolutely getting mauled. +2 Carapace is done, there is no +2 attack for the Terran, and that is a one-sided affair on the Terran-favored map. But you know what? This gold-based build turns disadvantage to advantage, and I was saying, this is what I love about this map. Is it perfectly balanced? No. Is it probably Terran-favored versus Zerg, and that's why they always pick it? Yes. Is it definitely Protoss-favored versus Zerg? Massively. But Zergs, especially REYNOR and Dark, have been finding a way to win on this map relatively consistently. GG, well played. Alright guys, REYNOR in the top left side of the map going for Hatchcast Pool. Surprisingly safe. Oh, actually it makes sense because they can block your base on Oceanborn. I guess it's kind of far away. Q is going to go 3x Reaper again, but why? What the heck? Guys, Cure is trying to... Okay, so for those who don't remember, Cure and REYNOR played in the grand finals in the same city here in Riyadh. Same venue. Well, slightly different venue, but down the road. A year ago in the Game is 8 finals. And I remember Rotterdam had this really great desk segment before the finals where he said, you know, you can't beat REYNOR in speed. You don't want to try and out-multitask him. You want to really try and, you know, get in with surprise build orders and clever timings and things like that. And then Cure just tried to out-multitask REYNOR for an entire series. And it didn't go well, right? REYNOR butchered him. It was 4-1, I want to say, or maybe 4-2. Maybe he took a second map. But it was a pretty solid series. Now, Cure, once again, is going very aggressive. But this is more of a, like, I want to catch you off guard. Remember, Link speed doesn't start that early. Now he sees the 2 barracks. He starts Link speed now, but it is delayed. It could have been earlier. Now, REYNOR last game went 25 drones before building lots of Zerglings. So Cure might just get more in his face. So this map's smaller than GoldenOre in number 1. Number 2, he saw that REYNOR was greedy last time. So he might want to try and take advantage of that. So far, REYNOR doing a pretty good job of just rotating back the weak units. Man, that Queen always feels like it takes forever to pop out when you really need it, doesn't it? Now, notice he's not injecting. He's just fighting because he needs to get the damage out. Lings go for a surround. They don't quite get it. REYNOR goes a bit too far. Only loses 2 Zerglings so far, which is good. Did he spread creep? No, he went for an inject. I guess on this map, you don't really need creep in between your bases because there's only a tiny patch that's off creep. That being said, the Queens are still going to be slow to rotate. His Overlords were a bit too far out. That was a small mistake in the Overlord positioning for REYNOR. His Overlords are pushed too far out. Early game, you want to have them further back. Oh, he's going to block the Reapers. Good Evo chamber there, but Cure had already diverted south, and I don't think he's going to lose any. Oh, he's going to lose one. One Reaper goes down. Oh, wow, that animation. Whoa, that was so cool. The Reaper, as he was jumping up to go down the cliff, gets shot to pieces and just spins out like he's in space. That was so cool. Now, notice that already REYNOR's had to be 2 drones shy from what he was on GoldenOre. He's building a lot more Zerglings now. He's gone up to 15, but he's going back to Overlords and droning. Is 15 enough to deal with 7 Reapers? Not really. No, not at all. So Cure can keep denying his base until he builds enough Lings to surround this. And we know that from the last game, Cure wanted to play very, very aggressive. But this time he says, you know what? Let's back away and save these Reapers, which is, of course, the right call. REYNOR's going to go take that 3rd base. He's going up to 21 Zerglings. He's going to go back to droning. And you can see, well, Cure's command center is definitely not early. It's about 10, 12 seconds later than it was last game. But he's got Stim already started. He's already got 2 reactors up. And because he built 2 less Reapers, I think his Marine transition with Stim, his Marine timing will hit earlier. So yeah, he's going to hit a Stim +1 weapons timing. 114 seconds. How long does Stim take these days? 100. Yeah, I don't think he waits for combat shields. I think he starts pressuring probably when... I think he moves out with like maybe 10, 12 Marines plus the Reapers. And then starts pressuring, looking for Overlords, clearing creep, and then really tries to just keep REYNOR on a small work account, force him to build a lot of Zerglings. Maybe don't actually commit to the fight, but at least force a big response. Why would you save the Reapers? When are they useful again? I mean, they're tanky units. So think about it. Anytime pre-baneling, you've got 60 hit points compared to the Marines' 45, 55 combat shields. The grenades are also very good for bouncing. They've got the regen as well, so if they're in a small fight, they can heal up afterwards. And they do... I think they do less DPS than a Marine because the Marine shoots so much faster, but they definitely, like, on their first shot, do more. So they still think of them as just an extra Marine being mixed in. Even though they don't have the Stim, they also are fast enough. They can move as fast as a Stim Marine. So you can kind of micro them as a pack, and especially if you get grenades kind of splitting up the Zerglings as they try to engage you, they're not a bad unit. It's just a bit more awkward to get value out of them because the micro to use the thingos is harder. Now, he's moving out later than I thought, guys. He's going to wait for +1 weapons. Combat Shields has not started just yet. Medevacs are on the way as well. Behind this, REYNOR is up on 43 workers. He's massing Zerglings right now. So he does not have a worker advantage, which is fine if he shuts these Marines down. But if these Marines just don't get surrounded, I mean, he's forcing REYNOR to build 60 Zerglings. Yeah, and that Overlord's not positioned properly. He can just move his Marine south and like one or two shot that. I would have gone for it, but no, he doesn't want to take it. Oh man, other Overlord gets left out. Sloppy for REYNOR, guys. Loses an Overlord. He's going to lose another Overlord. Oh, REYNOR manages to hide it. Cure could have started a step to kill that, I believe. And look at this. Lings are ready for the flank. But because he knows that, as long as he doesn't fight the Queens, he should be fine. And he even stims to get away. Oh, he's thinking of fighting. Really? Okay, gets the Overlord. There's no way you want to fight right now, though. There's 74 Zerglings on this map. REYNOR is kind of all in defensively right now. He needs a big surround. There's not enough space in the medevacs to pick everything up, but he doesn't want to fight with just Zerglings. He wants a perfect surround and queens engaging at the same time. REYNOR now finds himself not getting that fight he wants, so he's overreacted, guys. He's been too safe. 9 queens, 74 Zerglings, and yet he's not getting the engagement that he wants. Here we go. He's going to force it. He feels like he has to force it, and I totally understand why. He needs to grab more Zerglings to get behind. Oh, great micro for Kua. Dude, Kua's shredding him. Kua shreds him. Absolutely shreds him. Oh my god. Do we have the battle report? I don't know. I don't think we need it. Look at the units lost tab. 2.5 times the effectiveness. That queen, she's floating off. She's ascending right now. She says, yeet me out of here. Yeah, this is really bad. 46 drones to 45. So Kua keeping up the pressure here on Oceanborn, and REYNOR just didn't start Link speed early enough. Didn't shut down the Reapers, and now those Reapers added to the Marine pressure against a REYNOR who was so afraid of this timing that he overcommitted to defending, and then because he was overcommitted to the defense, he felt like he had to force the engagement because his economy was too low. And the longer he let it go, the longer he let the tanks, the Marines, the upgrades build up, the worse the fight was going to get for him. So he tried to force the engagement. Obviously, that was not the fight he was looking for, but he had to make something happen, or at least he felt that way. Queens taking a lot of damage from the Marines, but the transfuses are very good. Oh, this is a good fight for REYNOR. If the Lings can now scoop in, he's got to go for it, though. I would like him to keep fighting there. He still has a bunch of transfuses. I think now's the go time. Clean this up before the reinforce comes. This is still a 2 command center build, but you've got to shut this down, get 10 more workers out, get a 4th hatchery started, and then try to play the longer game and defend the next follow-up waves. Looks like REYNOR's trying to... He knows Q is trying to bait him. And he does have 11 queens, 2 more building right now. Massive queen count. He's also only on 2 gases as REYNOR, which is actually very smart. Unfortunately for him, his carapace has just started, whereas 1-1 is finished for the Terran. The Terran has 1-1, and you do not have any upgrades. You are far behind. You're down in army supply. You don't really have an economic advantage, even though you've got a 3rd base up, and that makes things incredibly awkward. He's coming out right now. REYNOR has a lot more units here than maybe Kua realizes. REYNOR could ambush this, but all comes down to the micro and off creep. I don't know. Oh, Kua scouts for it. Kua. He's going to siege, and you can't engage that because the Marines can just stim and gun you all down. You'd sacrifice your whole army for maybe 1 or 2 tanks, and it's not worth it. Tanks are going to come forward. Marines are joining up on the front. Queen's coming forward as well. Creep unable to get out there. REYNOR needs to counterburst, but there's a tank sieged up now. Look at that. He's got a secondary wall behind the front wall. Oh, that is amazing preparation for Kua. Guys, who was counting Kua out? I know I kind of was. Let's own up to it. Man's playing like a beast right now. He got good damage to the 3RX Reaper on the smaller map this time around. The more even map, one could say, than Golden Aura. He's got a backup wall at home. This is beautiful. Here we go, Massling Bane coming from the right. Marines Arc trying to initiate. He's trying to force the engage. There's 4 liberated. Look at how many Marines he has up there behind the tanks as well. These Marines, he's going to A-move the Marines. They're doing pretty well, but they can't get hit by the Banelings. Oh my god, they all got hit by the Banelings. Oh, damn. Kua not quite having the perfect micro you would want him to have. Does it matter? No, not really. He's still 5,000 resources ahead of the units lost. His Marines over on that right side. Because he was busy picking up and saving the Marines on the high ground. He just wasn't quick enough to either focus fire or pull them behind the minerals. But very nice play there by REYNOR. Was there Burrow there? No Burrow. Just ran in with the Banelings on the right. And Kua just wasn't quite ready for it. But he gets the 3rd hatchery. He says 2 base first, 2 base, baby. Not to mention, you've only got 6 queens. I've got 5 libs. Good luck dealing with that ratio. Normally you want many, many queens. He's got Burrow Banelings there, but he's got no room to use it. Because there's always going to be scans now. He knows that Burrow's in the field of play. Link's coming in from that right side. Not going to be able to get anything. Kua's got it. The reinforce does get hit. That's an important move for REYNOR. I love that move. Link Bane coming forward. Queens as well. Queen's getting shredded, though, by the lib tank. Oh, no. And REYNOR gets knocked down. Kua keeps himself alive. Let's go back to that first Marine battle, because that thing was a thing of beauty for Kua. And it was a thing of, for REYNOR. So REYNOR needed to scoop more Lings in from the right side and get a proper surround. He wasn't able to do that, so let's take a look at this fight when it does happen. Here we go. So I do think maybe REYNOR mismicroed this a little bit, but we're going to have to investigate it. So what happens when he goes in with this engagement, guys, is these Lings on the right come in first, right? And they stop you from retreating. Problem is, notice he keeps pulling them away. So whenever he's moving for the surround, he's trying to move his whole section of Zerglings past, whereas those units that were behind should have been attacking. So what he should have been doing there, and this is like very minute, I don't think it actually makes him win this fight. I just think it's like a small thing. You actually want to be grabbing these Zerglings, just like the bottom side, and clicking them here or over here so that they run this way. Now, the problem is he instead, REYNOR, and you can see this in what he's selecting in real time. If we go to his vision, we press escape, you can see what he's got selected, which is his whole army. And notice he's just clicking them. Click. He right-clicks, A moves, right-clicks, A moves. So he's just started stepping all of his Zerglings. And that means he's literally pulling away the Zerglings, whose job it is to hold the enemy Marines in place, number one. What's the other problem? Notice how the Marines and Reapers are solid on this left side of the ramp. So notice how his Lings can't squeeze around. If they could squeeze around the left, so these Lings are squeezing around the left while these Lings are squeezing around the right, it'd be a very different story. But those Lings are only there. So, because of this, the only Lings that are even getting attacks off when he had A moves is these Lings here, which are often getting shot down very quickly. And the Marines are able to stutter step away, which already, anytime there's movement, melee units do much worse. Anytime the unit's like held in place, the melee units get a lot more attacks off. So his Lings are doing almost no damage. The Queens kill one medevac, but only one. The other one escapes. And you can basically see it's just an awful fight for REYNOR. So to make that fight work, and I can see why he took it, I would have probably taken the same fight because it looked like he had him there on the right side with that flank. He needed more Lings to come from the right side or the bottom right and come from that. If he had a full surround and just held him in place and was able to just stand there attacking, especially if it was fully in range of the Queens, like right here, like if the whole fight was here, the Queens can attack not only the medevacs, but also the Marines. So this could have been a very different one. Now, remember, you can also say, well, why does he feel like he has to take this fight? It's because he built too many Zerglings and Queens. So what REYNOR could have done is potentially when those Marines were first moving out, just be a little bit greedier and drone a bit harder. Now, it's hard to do that because look, he gets... Well, actually, he's already building Lings here. And a Baneling nest. Was he thinking of busting? Oh, he starts building them at 43 drones. Yeah. I think he was just a bit paranoid about this attack, and I think he just didn't build enough economy. Let's be real. I think he should have built 5 to 8 more drones before he started building any more Zerglings. Because he stopped at 42 for this long, it's such a low economy. So I think REYNOR was just a little bit too afraid of this push, and he just misjudged his own income. All right, guys, going to the next game. REYNOR in the top left of Amphion, Curate in the bottom left. And I hope you don't mind me spending so long on the breakdowns. That one was not me saying, oh, I've got to teach you, you plebeians, what happened. It was me literally just trying to figure out what happened. Because I really thought, even with like a decent surround, which it looked like REYNOR had, 80 Zerglings should have done pretty well against that army, especially with the 9 Queens taking out a medevac. But it was such a bad fight. So sometimes you got to pour through that replay and realize what went on in the heat of the moment. You know, it's very easy to miss these little details that, especially in something like Ling versus Marine, adds up really hard because they're both very fragile, high damage units, right? If you've got like Mass Roach versus Roach, it's much easier to process what's happening. Stalker versus Stalker, much easier. But when you're looking at Zerglings versus Marines, everything dies so quickly and the fight snowballs so fast that you need to keep an eye on it straight away. And this is a gas pool. I don't like this opening, guys. What is the gas pool for? Why? Why would you go the gas? I love Dark's 16 pool, 17 hatchery, 6 Zergling pressure into gasless 3rd hatchery. Now, this is looking to maybe take advantage of a command center first with the Ling flood. Always, when I see gas pool, I always think of someone Ling flooding against the command center first. Is that what REYNOR's plan is? Or is it because he's worried about 3 Rex Reaper after that last game and he's like, well, you've 3 Rex Reapered 2 games. It's really hard to deal with on this map, maybe, because they can jump up here and over here. Doesn't really sound right. I don't think this map's that hard to deal with. I guess, like, it... Obviously, Reapers in general are annoying jumping up there, which is why pull first can be good. But it does feel like a very early gas. We'll see how it goes. Only a Reaper expand. No SCV scout, guys. Sorry, I was just getting a drink of water there. 2 Lings coming forward. I like watching Cure play this matchup because even though I'm like, look, he's not as fast as the very, very fastest guys in the world. Similar to when I watch Shin play from the other side of the matchup, I go, this is what I can potentially copy. Because if you're just a bit outmatched in the speed, like that's kind of the feeling I get whenever I'm playing against one of these pros. If I get to play Dark in the weekly cup or something, I'm like, ooh, what can I do to give myself a chance of taking a map if Dark's a bit sleepy? You know, like what if he's a bit hungover, I play the best game of my life, and I do a 300 IQ plan. You know, like, maybe I can steal a map. It never happens against a guy like Dark, because Dark just doesn't lose maps very often, even when he does look like he's kind of hungover. But we'll see how it goes. Reaper's going to scout the Ling speed, and there's a bunch of Lings being built. Dude, letting this scout in's terrible. This is such a good scout for Cure. It's such a good scout, guys. By the way, did he not send 2 Zerglings across the map? Why didn't he send 2 Lings in to try to get the SCV building the commands? And I guess because he knows that Cure always builds 2 Marines after the Reaper. That's why Cure is happy to delay the factory landing, because he likes to go fast second gas starport after 3rd command center, so he doesn't have the money for the Hellions until now anyway. See, he's just hit 200 minerals just now. And nothing on the low ground, so the Lings find nothing. Oh, so this opening falls completely flat for REYNOR. Wow, dude, this is god tier play for Cure. Cure's playing so safe. Oh, REYNOR. Not quite able to kill it. There we go. Does take it down now. Sees a drone coming out, though. That does kind of at least tell Cure, yeah, you're probably macroing. And it looks like it's going to be a Hellion Banshee opening, which is a good idea. I think some safety is a good call. Oh, my lord. REYNOR looking for the mistakes from Cure. Should be able to kill one of the Hellions. The one on the high ground is going to be very hard to deal with, because with the Marines behind it and now the SCVs and the way it got in that little nook. Yeah, good micro. Loses only 1 Hellion. I mean, sure, you got to lift your command center. At least REYNOR's getting some value out of these Zerglings. He's being a nuisance. But Cure's playing incredibly safe. And this is the thing. I've played Cure actually a lot of times in tournaments. And what I've always noticed in Zerg vs Terran, because I'd always do these crazy all-ins where I just wait with like 40 Zerglings here against a high-level Terran, wait for the Hellions to move to my side of the map and run in. And Cure will just sit at home. He is the safest player with his early Hellions. The number of times you're like, oh, come on, you've got to move out. And he's like, I'm just going to be safe. I'll just camp at home. And most Terrans are like, I got to stop the creep. I got to stop the creep. And they kind of feel panicked to be in the Zerg's face. I think Q is very good at reading when his opponent is prone to just doing crazy all-ins. And then he just builds extra defense, extra safety, extra insurance, which is why he's going safety Banshee before landing a factory on the tech lab. He's now adding his extra barracks. He's building a reactor with the starport. You might be wondering, why is he doing that? That's to swap the barracks onto the reactor, so that he can get straight into 3 barracks marine production plus siege tanks. Now, this factory positioning, not great. If the tank pops out there, it's kind of stuck. I think once this barracks lifts and swaps, it might be okay. The tank pops on the right, it can get out of here. But in general, a little bit dicey whenever you're building tanks, because remember, tanks are 2x2 units. They are not 1x1, like a lot of the small units. They're big chunkers. Now, REYNOR's going to go for an all-in. Feels like his opening wasn't great, but he says, hey, if I surprise you with a big Ravager Ling, I can take you out. And to be fair, there's only 1 Banshee on the map. The problem is that Banshee's looking for it. REYNOR? Don't show your roaches. Don't show your roaches. Go left. He can go left and avoid it. Oh, he doesn't see the Banshee until too late. Q sees it. Perfect scouting. Bunker's going to go down. He's got Hellions, Marines, a tank. As long as he pulls SCVs, he should be good. Bad Banshee micro for Q. He's missing a lot of DPS right now. A lot of damage being lost here. Doesn't focus the weak one, which makes sense because it has a lot of armor. The Hellions, Marines, and the tank will crush these roaches. And that Banshee missing out on a lot of DPS, but Q is focusing on everything else. Getting 2 bunkers, 5 Marines, and tanks at a time. The Banshee does dodge the biles. REYNOR backs away. REYNOR realizes this is a lost cause. Is it, though? I feel like when you've built this many units, you might as well try to shove in, see if you can bile the tank. But, I mean, now that the bunkers are up, yeah. What were the chances of you really doing good damage, right? Because as soon as the Ravagers are morphed as well, they'll start getting shift-clicked by the Banshee, and that's going to be terrible. If you guys are tuning in live, ! bracket for whenever you're wondering where the games are from. Command is up to date, as it usually is. If you guys are seeing people asking questions, you can always hit that or just let them know what's going on. Best games of StarCraft today, every Saturday morning in Australian time. You know, Saturday morning cartoons were a thing as a child. If you're an Australian in 2024, it's Saturday morning StarCraft. Friday afternoon or evening if you're in America or Europe. But it's always good fun casting these best matches. We find a mixture of the interesting, the close, the fun, the surprising, as well as just the big events that happen, the big upsets. All right, good scout in the back, sees the armory coming in, tells you, okay, his 2-2 is probably about to start. His armory is about to finish, and that means REYNOR is behind in these upgrades, which makes sense. I mean, you've had an awful opening, and now you're going Roaches into Ling Bane, which is always one of the more awkward transitions. So at least he's not too heavy in Roaches, but he's actually building a lot more. That I find kind of surprising. I guess it's because his Baneling speed's so late. He knows that he might have to defend the first Marine tank push without Baneling speed. But it's definitely a little awkward whenever you're investing in like 20 roaches before going Ling Bane. 66 drones are up for REYNOR though. If he can take the perfect fights, anyone, you know, you can always make comebacks in StarCraft, and I think REYNOR especially can. Like, REYNOR is so very, very good at that. The one thing he's skimped on is queens. Notice he's only got 5 queens. His creep's a little light. I do hope he's more active with his creep down the left side, because that can often be very important later on in the game. As well as a lot of players forget to build a creep tumor here and spread it around that right side. Good Biles scares away the drop. 3 more drones come in. Infestation Pit. REYNOR into the low 70s. Now, REYNOR's much more comfortable playing Zerg versus Terran off 85 to 90 workers. If there's one thing I'd say that the modern REYNOR is not well practiced with, it's playing low economy Zerg. Like, Dark is a master of 70 drone ZvT, but REYNOR so rarely plays this. I really think if there's one thing, if I was coach for REYNOR that's just occurring to me in the moment, I would tell him, we need to practice you playing some 65, 70 drone Zerg versus Terran, because it becomes so much more about efficiency in those scenarios, and that's something that REYNOR is not really known for. He's more of a multitasking swarming guy, but when you're suddenly doing things where your units are on a budget, you got to be really technical about where they are. I think like someone like Cyril is much more able to make comebacks from this sort of scenario than he is. Don't get me wrong, if you're facing Clem from here, you're kind of dead no matter what, but it's Cure. You're the favored player, you're the advantage player, and that could be big. 2-2's almost finished. Concussive Shells is here, though, guys. It's an 8-Rax Marauder push. This is my favorite version of 8-Rax to kill a Roach opening. Roach into Ling Bane is notoriously weak to this maxed out push with 2-2, Concussive Shells, good mix of Marauders up front, Siege Tanks rallying in from behind. 5 Siege Tanks are out, but look at that. Ling Bane interception on the reinforce. Oh, he attacks the front a little bit. Oh, a little bit of a crazy attack here for REYNOR, but he catches Cure. Not quite watching. Baneling's going after a lot of the Marines. Oh, so many tanks go down. That is a brilliant first fight there for REYNOR, but drop gets in behind, 5 workers do go down, and that means Cure can keep pushing. If he could have respread creep immediately, reclaim territory, that'd be good, but this double drop in the back gets rid of 2 gases, gets 5 workers, and not only that, but look, Cure's still got a presence on the front, which means this creep is receding, and that's huge for the next push. A little bit slow to get inside the main base. That queen going down would be a disaster, but good micro for REYNOR. He starts targeting the weak medevac. The Lings all got stuck behind each other, though, and remember, it's 1-1 against 2-2. Oh, oh my, that early game was so bad for REYNOR. And remember, this was always going to be a long shot coming back, but great activity for Cure. Sacrifices 1 medevac for a total of, I think it was 18 workers, because he got 5 at the third, another 13 in the main, ton of Zerglings as well. Great trading. Cure decides to dive unsieged forwards into the Zerg territory. Not his best decision. Good evacuation, though, as the Banshee turns around to chase off those Roach Ravager. And Cure's going to have to be a little more careful about spreading these tanks around and slowly branching forward. Cure has a massive edge right now, plus 3 weapons on the way. But REYNOR needs time for 2-2 to get in here. The Ravagers, the Roaches, the Lings coming in from all sides. The Biles on the tank. Both tanks will go down. Oh, no, one of them survives on 3 hit points. Redrop in the main base, takes out a Queen, takes out a few Roaches and Lings. 2-2 versus 1-1 is still the name of the game. These Marines are going to fix their bayonets, charge into the drone lines, and skewer themselves some bloody barbecue. On the right side of the map, that hatchery has to abandon drones. REYNOR quickly sends them to the top right, playing whack-a-mole right now. Cure, it just has too much of an edge, though. He's maxed. He's perma-maxed. Yes, 2-2's going to finish, but REYNOR's down 50 army supply. As long as Cure doesn't eat big Baneling shots, he's got this. And good spread for him. The Marauders eat the Banelings in a pre-spread, so they don't really care about that. And Cure is going to be able to tie up this series after shutting down REYNOR's Ling speed. I got to say, Cure's Reaper scouting that early game was exceptional. All right. What's up, everyone? We've got REYNOR in the bottom left. I'm talking like it's a new series because I just took a couple minutes breather because this is game 5. Low ground Reaper again? 3-Rax Reaper again? Oh my god, does Cure just think he's beyond? This is not how you're going to beat REYNOR. REYNOR's not stupid. You've caught him a few times. You're not going to get in it. There's no way you come out ahead. REYNOR has already put 3 workers on gas. I didn't pay attention, but I should have. I'm pretty sure he would have put 3 on gas. There's a small adjustment you make here as REYNOR, guys. You just make Ling speed the moment you get 100 gas. You don't pull off gas to go mine on the natural. Normally, he would have pulled these drones off gas. This is such a simple adjustment. You're playing a guy who keeps spamming 3-Rax Reaper at you. 3 games in a best of 5. I'm not a fan of this. And I think REYNOR's so well prepared. Look at this. He's only pulling off immediate Ling speed. Immediately starts, of course. This is just the logical response. And this is the thing. Whenever someone spams too much low ground 2-Rax Reaper, even against 2-Rax Reaper, going Ling speed this early is great. I'm not a fan of Q's build order. This is the same frustration I get when I watch Beyond just spam the same build order over and over again. If it was 2 racks Reaper, I'd be fine with it, because that is a macro opening where you sacrifice your own economy, but you delay the Zerg creep massively. And that's kind of like a trade-off that is actually very viable. But 3 racks Reaper, it's a bad build. I'll commentate what's going on. I'll talk more about why the build's bad, because it's predictable what you're doing next. That's the problem with it. If you're not doing good damage early, what you're doing next, the Zerg already knows. You've done the same thing every game. Why? Because there's only one follow-up to this build. It's get a factory, get Medivacs, push with Stim Marines, make tanks, and have an incredibly late third base. Sorry, letting my frustration out right now, guys. It's not good strategic play for Cure, and it feels like for the second time playing Reynor in a big tournament, he's not playing good strategies for dealing with Reynor. Reaper does go down there for 2 Zerglings so far. He's not finding any damage. Reynor's playing very safe. 24 drones into already 14, 20 Zerglings coming up. And yeah, you're going to get a Zergling, maybe 2, but no, just 1. And with Ling Speed about to finish, if these Reapers get surrounded, you're screwed. So you got to be careful. You know with no third base, he's going to have a much quicker Ling Speed. Kua should go home right now. But he's building 8 Reapers. Even more than the last time. Uh-oh. Even more than on Oceanborn, guys. This is crazy. The Lings have snuck out. They're ready for the surround because he knows he's going to chase him. He's going to try to run down here to this ledge to get away. But he's ready for the surround. Oh, Reynor's going to get spotted, though. Oh, he's going to get out. Nice move for Kua, but not quick enough. Not quick enough. Already 2 Reapers going down. He can go to the high ground, though. Oh, great choke point. Oh, Kua realizing only a tiny choke point there. Good. Okay, Kua's making the best of a bad position right now. Oh, he's so greedy, though. Is he going to lose the Reapers? Beautiful micro. He does get a few of them, but the queens are on the high ground now. No safety this time. And that third hatchery will go down. He made it frustrating there. Hats off to him. Main base and natural were both injecting during all that, though. Both mineral lines are filled up. Third base starts. Let's compare that to natural just finished, which means he started it at 310 this game. We do have the fast engineering bay, the factory into the starport, and this is where the build falls flat. It's the fact is, Zerg knows exactly what you're going to do next. And this is why Beyond is one of the few players I can get behind doing this build, because Beyond, even when his opponent knows he's doing a 3 racks push, his micro is so good with the Marines, and his Marine tank 2 base pushes are insane. The number of games Beyond wins with that, even when he loses the first fight, is crazy. I don't know if Kua has that same clutch ability, especially against a Reynor who's so mentally prepared. I wonder if he plays the armory build again, the demented 2 base. Was that what I called it? Demented 2 base. It's the ridiculously committed 2 base. It's just so wild to see someone commit to +2 vehicle weapons and +1 vehicle +2 weapons on 2 base before even going to 5 racks. It's such a crazy build. That's what I kind of love, crazy builds like that. I remember Beyond was actually the first guy I saw try that on Post Youth in one of the online tournaments maybe 2 months ago, two and a half months ago. And it fell flat so bad in a game against Dark. It looked pathetic. And I was like, what is he doing? I don't know if any of you guys remember this cast. I was like, what the heck? Is Beyond drunk? The way Kua did it on Golden Aura, I can actually kind of see how it makes sense. It really does. He's gone 4 gas. Which is obviously very committed to 2 base. Now, Reynor's gone 52 workers. Double Evo chamber starts. And how many queens? He's got 9 queens, and only now is he massing Zerglings. So compare this to the 42 drones massing Zerglings and being really paranoid with no Evo chambers. This time, he's not only got the lair and the Bailey Nest, he's got the double Evo, and he's got 10 more workers than on Oceanborn. So we're looking at a mirror match of Oceanborn, except Reynor's actually in a good position. It's always hard playing against a guy like Reynor for Team Liquid's Q just to say, like, it does actually make sense that, like, you know, you're so worried about playing a guy as good as Reynor that you really want to do your best build that you're not going to make any mistakes with. But, you know, StarCraft's not only about you making mistakes and playing perfectly, it's also about making it hard for your opponent to play a perfect game. It's such a big part of the game, and if you let it be simplistic to predict what you're going to do, your opponent's going to play the best StarCraft they've ever played. And this is especially a thing against Zerg, where, like, there's always a thing where a meta comes around, everyone's proxy 2-raxing, it wins a ton of games for a week, but then all the Zerg pros get so much practice against 2-racks proxy Marine push that they don't really take any damage anymore. And they actually come out ahead every time, and that's when that build becomes bad, and suddenly, oh, 3-racks Reaper's good again, or 3 Command Center macro build. You kind of have to rotate these builds around. Zergs get in their comfort zone. Because Zerg's such a reactive race, if you make yourself easy to predict, Zerg becomes god tier unstoppable. Massling getting ready for the counterattack. Here comes the Marine tank moving out. There's a lot of Lings there. No Banelings, though. Not enough units to surround this, I don't think. He's going to go for it, though. Raynor goes for a big old surround. Medevac can save the tanks. As long as he's ready to save the tanks, I think he's fine. And he does save both tanks. It's still a good trade for Raynor, though. Anytime you're getting a roughly even trade, that's amazing for the Zerg player. Plenty more Marines at home. He doesn't have the backup depot wall this time around. He could build a depot there to kind of have that. I love the idea of a backup depot wall, so if they bust the front one, you got a second one behind it. Tank moving forward. It's going to be 3 siege tanks, 41 Marines against only 55 drones. Guys, Raynor's playing so safe. He's playing really low economy, but because he's already broken these rocks himself, he can easily jump on this before the tank's even sieged. The other tank's in a really good spot, but that first tank goes down. Second tank will go down as well. And Raynor can chill. He can pull back onto creep. Cure. Losing those tanks is a problem, but he's still got the Marines, and Beyond's shown us many times that if you don't get your Marines hit by Banelings, if you can just bait that Zerg into fighting you off creep just once, the game can turn in your favor massively. 1-1 against just +1 carapace for the Zerg. There is double Evo, but no, one of the Evos did get cancelled for Raynor. He thought better of doing that. Burrow is out, guys. He's got 2 burrowed Banelings right there on creep. He's going to go around, and that's huge, because then you can start burrowing Banelings here. This is the optimum position right there, and then also right here on this corner. If you burrow Banelings in those spots, Terran is going to be in big trouble. +2 weapons is on the way. That's right, guys. He's doing the Demented push. 3 barracks. He's got +2 bio weapons. I think we'll probably see +1 vehicle weapons in the near future, though I've always thought that was the most pointless upgrade with this push, simply because you just don't have that many tanks. You know, you're only building 1 tank at a time, but we're going vehicle weapons. It does take the tank damage from 40 to 43 against these non-armored units, but I don't think that really changes much except for the rings of splash damage. It adds something. It's okay. It adds like 1 or 2 extra damage to the units that get hit by the splash. All right, lots of Ling Bane there. How many queens we got? 18? Oh, Raynor, you crazy dog. Raynor's playing a wild man style right now. He's got a lot of Ling Bane on the right, Ling Bane on the left, queens in the center, and the Ling Bane flank from behind. Man is going to set up a 270, maybe a 360-degree surround. Tony Hawk would be proud, ladies and gentlemen. He's setting up for a big, big, big spinny, flippy jump on your face. There's going to be 4 libs, 4 tanks, 62 Marines. The upgrades aren't quite there yet for the Terran. Raynor, does he wait for his own carapace? His carapace is a little ahead of +2 attack. If he can fight just when his upgrade finishes, that would be perfect. Lots of Marines building at home. You want to move out to reinforce, but you don't want to leave yourself open at home. So that's the kind of problem Cure finds himself in. The Queens are actually trading pretty well. Queen goes down for a couple Marines. I think that's a good fight for Ray. +2 carapace is almost done. You know Rain is ready for it. He's only on 55 drones. He's got an army supply advantage, but he needs the queens to try and tank the first siege tank shots. These Marines taking out a few more queens. 3 queens have gone down, but you know, this does cost medevac energy. It does cost a few Marines each time. I think Rain is happy to trade. He's got unlimited queens, basically. +2 carapace is about to finish. +2 carapace is about to kick in. This might be the time to go. He sees the reinforcements trying to join in. He's got burrowed banelings there as well. Remember, burrowed banelings are there. The other ones never managed to land. Burrowed banelings do get scanned in this position, but instead he just jumps on top. This could be a really good fight for Raynor. Banelings connect with a few of the Marines, but only a few of them. The Lings are going to go. They're going to get rid of a tank. Not a great fight for Raynor. Fantastic fight for Cure. Cure is ahead. 1,700 resources. Oh, Cure walked on the Baneling, forgetting it was there, then realized, moved away, scanned, took it out. Raynor missing a small opportunity. It was only a hair's breadth, but here we go. He's going to go before the units rejoin this army. Baneling's going after the Marines. He does get some decent hits. The tanks are gone. The Queens need to get rid of these libs, but oh my god, Cure might actually have this. Cure might actually be able to take down Raynor. I cannot believe it. I really didn't think this game started well, but if you're patient with this build, you now have 2-1 vehicle weapons. The Liberator count is at 6. If you keep those Liberators, you need to get rid of this front creep. If the Queens can move on creep, they can deal with the libs pretty well. The Queens can also take the tank shots incredibly well. Marines fighting the Queens over here. Interception of the reinforcements doing well for Raynor over on that side. Queens, mass transfuse going down to buy time. Third hatchery's taking big damage. Those Marines do go down. Ling Bane cleans up the Marine reinforce. These Marines move to the right side. He's going to go for that 4th hatchery. Oh, that means Cure leaves his tanks unguarded though. Cure maybe and he gets hit by Banelings there as well. He leaves his tanks unguarded. That could be a big mistake. The Queens moving on top. He's trying to unload Marines right now, but the Banelings able to get on top. The Liberator's getting taken down. Cure moving those Marines away from guarding the tanks was a big mistake. You need the Marines and the tanks in tandem, but he felt like Raynor mining off that 4th was a big problem. Moving those medevacs south, he lost a few to the Banelings. He didn't deny the 4th, and he left his tanks open for the taking. Raynor pounced. Raynor said, nah, you cannot get away with that. He's still burrowing Banelings out there. He's got 2 on the watchtower as well. well. What an intense 5th game this is. I cannot believe it. +3 weapons is on the way. On 2 base as he floats the main base down. This is the Innovation 2 base all-in. For those who don't remember, you go back to the Pig Daily, episode 51, Open Cut Muling. This is from early Legacy of the Void. Innovation basically had like a few weeks where he realized if you lift the main off and land it down here, you can extend your 2 base all-ins for such a long time. And if you spread your mules out, your main and your natural minerals should mine out at the same time. Cure did not optimize his mule placement. He has dropped at least 4 mules on his natural, whereas with this build, you're meant to drop them all in your main to optimize this. Obviously, Cure was hoping to win this game earlier. This is clearly plan C, not even plan B. This is not what he wanted to have to do, so he didn't optimize this. Otherwise, he could have floated this down at 9 minutes to make it like more continually even on the income. It might be worth the Banelings there, but for now, he is hiding it. Lingbane pushing back, Marines on the left side, no tanks supporting that as well. Okay, so we're only at 65 workers for REYNOR, and I really appreciate that. I think REYNOR's instinct is to build 80 workers here. Against a 2-base player, you've got such an advantage, and you have for such a long time. Like, you've got this base, you've got the gold base coming up as well. It's kind of wild. 2 more drones building. Hive is on the way. Personally, I never would have taken the 4th and 5th down here. I would have expanded to this left side of the map and planned to potentially give up my 3rd if I had to while counterattacking, because I am, you know, a guy who would prefer to make the game chaotic. But REYNOR's done such a good job with the Mass Queen of holding the center. If you play Mass Queen, you can definitely hold the front a lot more effectively than a player who's like me. I would prefer to stay light on queens, be more mobile, and that's going to be really big. Is this 8 racks? No, guys. He's just got to 5 racks. He's building 6th, 7th, 8th barracks now, but that's because he's building a 3rd command center that started at 13.5 minutes. This was a 3 racks all in. He only recently got to 5 barracks. Yeah, it's a crazy build. It's a crazy person build. Remember, this is 3 barracks. He goes +1 vehicle weapons, +2 infantry attack before making his 4th and 5th barracks. Like I said earlier, this is the demented 2-base all-in. It's got some real power to it because it's so surprising. If you haven't played against it, it's bizarre dealing with it. Remember, guys, you can see all the upgrades down here. Two Vipers are on the way. Adrenal Gland's coming in as well. 68 drones coming out. I mean, REYNOR's just all over this map. +2 armor's coming in now because +3 weapons is done. +3 weapons is really nice. The Hive's finished, so if you can get the money for +3 carapace, that's where the money's really at for REYNOR. Libs and tanks on the left side doing well. Slowly securing the slowest 3rd base of all time. And I mean, Cure could max out, win 1 fight, and win this game, but it's more and more a situation where he needs the perfect fight, and especially with REYNOR respreading creep, which, to be fair, REYNOR could have done a much better job of respreading creep. You can tell he's he's in a heightened state of awareness, right? He's now, only now is he going, oh, are we playing a longer game? And he's kind of like, okay, like maybe I should spread my creep a little bit more, you know? His queens are moving around, he's still got burrowed banelings everywhere. Lings are ready to deal with that. +3 carapace has started. Hydra upgrades as well. That was a distraction. Cure runs in from the bottom right side. Can you actually kill a hatchery when you got 46 queens ready to transfuse it, though? The Ling Bane's getting stuck, funnily enough. But he actually kills a queen, which allows those banelings to get on top. Nice hot pickup. Doesn't lose too many units. Top left, though. Oh, he lost a lot more Marines in the top left than I was expecting. Interesting. 4,000 resources lost ahead is Cure right now, as those Marines and Medivacs do go down to the Parasitic Bomb and the Lynx around. Very well done. Now, if we check on the burrowed banelings, guys, we've still got 2 here. We've also got... I think that's it. Okay, 2 there as well. So only 4 burrowed banelings on the map. Q is building a 4th command center right now. He's taking his time. He's got to wait for the max out. Notice he's not building workers, so he's looking for a hyper max. That is, I don't have a big economy, but because of that, at max out, I'm going to have an even bigger army. This is not a good fight for REYNOR, I don't think. Is it, though? Actually, there's so little bio nearby. Yeah, it's great. I thought there was going to be a lot more Marine Marauder run down. He just runs in, kills the command center. REYNOR's like, dude, I'm rich compared to you. Any small fight like that, I will take. Oh, triple Lib Siege. Triple Lib Siege coming in. Sporecrawler reposition is beautiful, though. You don't want to throw these Libs away. You do not want to throw these Liberators away. And I like that pullback. He's got a lot of units on creep. Oh my god, the Burrowed Banelings are right there. The Burrowed Banelings are right there. REYNOR thinking about setting them off. He doesn't want to use it too early, though. Ooh, those Banelings were great. Takes out a whole stack of Widowmines. Queen's moving over. Yeah, you're going to lose 1 or 2 queens. That's totally fine. As one of the Liberators goes down, the other 2 are forced back. Hydra upgrades coming in, +1 range, as well as the Groove Spines to add on top of the Muscular Augments that's already been done. Remember, there are 2 Vipers on this map, gathering energy by sucking off a few of the hit points from that Extractor. 14 queens are out front as well. The 14 queens are a waste of supply the longer this game goes, because they are purely a defensive unit. They're very bad off creep. Marauder's clearing the creep up front as well. Mass Ling on the left. That's an orbital. That is not a planetary, which means Lings can take it out very easily. Vipers are here. Just going to throw some parasitic bombs, pepper down these medevacs. Only gets damage on 1, though, as Q is spreading is on point. Queen's pushing forward here. Mass Lings on that base. Going to kill a lot of workers here. Lings on the high ground. Going to be doing good damage on the SCVs. Queens and Hydras on the front. The Vipers are ready. Blinding Cloud is going to be huge. Blinding Cloud is so huge in these fights. Yes, Blinding Cloud is massive. All over the army. The army tried to move into the Banelings because of the Blinding Cloud. Because Cure wasn't controlling them all at once. When he saw the Vipers, he needed to pull way further back. Oh, the Burrowed Baneling! Burrowed Banelings finally land a pretty good hit as well. You might be thinking, well, isn't this actually good for Cure? No, it is not, guys. Parasitic Bombs going down. Medevacs getting popped. And of course, Reynor's ability to resupply is next level. Yes, Reynor was a few thousand resources more inefficient there. Remember, he was about 4,500 behind. Now he's 6,500 behind. When you've been mining thousands of minerals more a minute, every single minute for the last 10 minutes, obviously that's a good trade, right? Everything is contextual in StarCraft. Oh, he even transfuses the Vipers there. The Queen count's getting lowered, which is allowing Reynor to remax with much faster, more mobile, better units for this scenario. And he's going to come forward with the Hydras as well. Widowmine gets a decent shot there into the Ling Bane advance. Hydras are going to take out the Libs. And those Widowmines, yeah, they clear the advance, but they also friendly fire one of their own medevacs down. And the Ling counterattack gets in the natural at the same moment. The double depot wall will not hold back the Ling Flood. The Marines on the front line trying to get through, but with no medevacs, no Marauders, nothing else, Cure is going to have to tap out. He finishes stutter stepping those Marines, and he realizes as the tank goes down on the high ground, it is good game. Reynor wins a much closer 3-2 series than he would have expected. Turns out Solar's fighting words, talking about his buddy Cure being on point and really good at this matchup, were not ill-advised. I was so critical. I said Cure's build order is so predictable. Reynor knows exactly what's happening. And Reynor did. All of that stands. I don't take back any of that. The only addendum I'd make now seeing the game is, look at how surprisingly close this game was, despite Reynor expecting it and being ready at every step. That tells you this is a good strategy. You know, as silly as it seems, it tells you, especially on any map with a really good push angle like this, it is a really, really good build. Now, did Cure massively screw up by moving these Marines towards the 4th? That's the only final question I have here before we seal out this cast. I think it was the later push, not that first one. It was the later one. Yeah, this is the moment. Because remember, he moves these Marines down. This is how many Marines, guys? That 12, right? 12 plus 8. That's 20 Marines that could have been guarding these tanks from how many Zerglings are here. Not that many. There's only 46 Lings on the map. There's no way these Lings would do anything to these tanks and Libs if the Marines are there. And he's got a big bunch of units there. And yeah, so I think moving these Marines forward may have actually lost Cure this game. Very even army supply and everything at this point. But letting just a small number of Lings get on top, and bam, the tanks are just gone. And he comes back with only 9 Marines out of 20, so he lost 11 Marines on the bottom as well. Yeah, that was probably Cure's biggest mistake. Hats off to Cure, though. This build is actually legit. GG, well played. Reynor gets the 3-2.